Welcome to Israel. Welcome to Galilee Forerunner. I'm Chaim Mailspin, the Galilean. I'm at the Sea of Galilee. This is such an important place. Let me tell you what, in the whole world, this is the most exciting place to be, is in Israel. Because you learn so much about Yeshua, about Jesus, who he was, what he did, what he has to show us in the times ahead. This is the preparation for disciples. This Galilee is the discipleship area. And that's why we invite you to come and to pray and to stay and to learn and to serve with us, with the faithful Galileans. But I mean, that church you just saw, you know, people flock here from all over the world, and it's called Peter's Primacy, and they talk about John 21, and they talk about Peter. Now think of this story. You remember the story? On a beach somewhere here on the North Shore, and you have Yeshua saying, hey, have you caught anything? And they say, no, we've been fishing all night. And he's like, well, cast your net on the other side. Okay, and so they cast it on the other side, and what happens? Suddenly there's such a big catch that they can't even hardly draw it in, and actually the net breaks. But he's like, don't worry, I'll make you fishers of men. Okay, so remember the story goes, and they follow him, they leave the nets, and they're going on adventures, these Galileans. Finally, Yeshua starts talking a little different, or a way that seems very strange to them. And he says, I must go die in Jerusalem for the remission of the sins of many. And they say, what are you talking about? We'll swashbuckle our way out of anything. We're your army unit. We're your IDF unit. We will rescue you. We'll chop ears. We'll do whatever we have to do. We'll rescue you. No one's going to get you. And he's like, no, it is written that this must happen. And what happens? Peter goes and denies Yeshua 3 times. And they say, we recognize you're a Galilean. We can hear you're a Galilean. He denies Yeshua 3 times. Yeshua dies. He resurrects. But you remember what Peter does? He ends up going back. Making a long story short, he goes back. John 21, you can turn there. And he goes back to the shore where he started, and he's fishing. And then he hears a voice. Hey, cast your net on the other side. Who's that? Who's that guy? They don't recognize him even. John 21. Cast your net on the other side. And he does, suddenly, a whole bunch of fish. And he's like, that's the master. He jumps in, he's swimming. John's like, it's the master, right? And he's swimming, and he comes here. Yeshua's already got a fish. Yeshua has got a fish on the coals right over here somewhere, maybe right on this rock. People think that this is the rock where he was calling to them. This rock I'm sitting on here. And so then he's cooking a fish, and he goes to Peter, and he's like, hey, Peter. He doesn't yell at him. He doesn't say, you're evil for betraying me 3 times. And that rooster was crowing because he looked at him that moment. Remember, he looked at him that moment he betrayed him. Okay, so then suddenly Peter's like, he says, do you love me, Peter? And Peter says, of course I do. Then feed my sheep then. Be a shepherd. You be a shepherd too. You know, help these lost sheep of the house of Israel. Help Israel. You know, all throughout the Bible, sheep are like considered Israel. Okay, and then number 2, he says, do you love me, Peter? And he says, yes, I love you. Feed my sheep. Number 3, Peter, do you love me? And he's very grieved because he denied him 3 times just before that. But Yeshua's like, no, Peter, this is your reconciliation. This is your day of reckoning. The show's still on. You're still my guy, and we're going for it. So that's kind of how Yeshua talks. He'll come out of the pits of Hades, and he will rescue you. Maybe you didn't deny him 3 times, but he's got the plan. Maybe even through hard times. He's got the plan for you. Now think of this. When he pulled out, how many fish? 153 fish. They got, and the net worked this time. Okay, it didn't break. So then I say, wait a minute, what does 153 mean? Some say it means in Aramaic, it means in the, it's called the Hebraic, each letter in Hebrew has a different value. Okay, it's called gematria. And so it's I am God. The value is I am God. But I say a different thing. This 153, I believe it's going to be 153 nations that are going to come and be connected with Israel. They're going to be sheep nations. They're going to be connected with Israel. And guess what? The net works. It's a network of nations who are helping. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16, it says, hey, I will send forth many fishermen. They will fish who? The Jewish people, and help them make their aliyah, their immigration back to the promised land. Hey, maybe that's also fishers of men, isn't it? And that's you, and that's me. And the adventure is on, my friends. So thank you for coming and staying with us in our many locations. Thank you for praying in the prayer house, Vertical Galilee House of Prayer. It awaits you. Thank you for practically, tangibly coming here and learning on location like this in the Ambassador Academy. Don't just watch this video, get over here, okay? And number 4, thank you so much for serving with the rest of the Galileans here and joining ranks. Come to the land of discipleship, be a disciple, and learn from the Master just like the disciples did 2,000 years ago. And let me tell you what, God is showcasing his glory today. You gotta be part of it. Unlike anywhere else in the world, here you can walk in the exact footsteps of the Master. You look at the scenery that he used in his parables. You get to understand with the locals, teachers from all over Israel, what he's saying in its real context. I invite you guys to make a rededication to the Lord here. Hey, go dunk in the Jordan River. We invite you to connect with God's purpose, prophetic destiny, not only for this land, but for your land and for your family and for you. God bless you. And hey, ambassadors, keep pressing on.
Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Yeshua, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God.